One of the hardest parts of becoming a freelance entrepreneur is closing the deal. That's why you need to know exactly what to say and when to say it once you get on a sales call with your prospect, so that you can control the conversation, address any concerns that your prospect might have, and steer that conversation into a sale on you and your services. And in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. So stick around, because you are about to learn how you can become a sales assassin with this proven no bullshit formula that I have used myself to close more than 20 deals in my time as a freelance copywriter. But before we get into it, I've got a competition for all my subscribers. If you are new here, my name is Cav Legacy and I'm a freelance copywriter, and I've been doing it since March last year. And in that time, I've managed to accumulate over 100 grand as a freelance copywriter. And this YouTube channel is designed to teach you how you can do it as well. And so my competition is this. I am offering one of you the chance to get a free one-to-one coaching call with me that will last 1 hour, 2 hours, fuck knows however long hours that you want it to last. I will sit here and give you a free one-to-one coaching call for as long as it takes to wrap your head around how to actually make something of yourself as a copywriter. And all you have to do is sit and watch this video from start to finish, because at some random point in this video, a unique code is going to flash up on the screen like that. And when that code flashes up on the screen, you need to quickly run to Instagram and DM me that unique code. Once you DM me the code, I'm going to ask you a random question related to this video. And the first person to 1, DM me the unique code, and 2, answer my question correctly, will win a free one-to-one coaching call with me that will last as long as it needs to, all day if it has to, and I will sit here and personally one-to-one mentor you. So watch the video all the way to the end, and make sure that you watch the video all the way to the end, and don't just run straight to Instagram to send me the code, because I might ask you a question that appears later on in the video after the code appears. It's a gamble. So watch it all the way through, DM me the code, and as well, this is your chance to get some real coaching, because I do not get a lot of views on my videos. All my videos are like less than 1,000 views, so there's not much competition. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video on how you can become a sales call assassin. So, preparations. A sales call is not a casual chat. You have to be prepared for it, because the more prepared you are, the more confident you're going to sound. So before the call, you need to make sure that you have researched the prospect. You need to know their business, their pain points, and what they actually care about, because nothing is worse than hopping on a call and asking, so what does your company actually do then? Instant loss. It's an instant loss because it's unprofessional, and it shows the prospect that you are not prepared for the call. You don't know how you can help them. So how are you going to convince them that you can help them if you don't even know anything about their business? So you have to actually do your due diligence before the call. Make sure you research the prospect, know their business, know their struggles, their pain points, and how you, as a copywriter, can solve those problems for the prospect. And you need to have clear objectives. What do you want to get out of the call? A sale, a commitment, or another meeting? If you don't know what you want, you're not going to get anything. Right? Now, the general consensus is when you get in a sales call, you want a sale there and then. But you have to be prepared to take other alternatives, because not everyone's going to be willing to pay you on the spot. So go into the call thinking, at the very least, you want another meeting. The very least, and just make sure you have that clear objective. If you do a good job at convincing them and you follow this script, they should be happy to pay you by the end of the call. But if not, make sure you've got that clear objective of, right, you're not willing to pay, let's schedule another meeting. And once you've got that clear objective, it gives you some sort of direction on where you can steer the call, and it just allows you to be more prepared for those scenarios when they arise. Make sure you've got invoices ready to go. So if they say yes, you need to send an invoice immediately. If you start saying, oh, I'll sort it out later, then that gives them time to think about their decision to hire you. And guess what? In this sales call, you're going to be using copywriting techniques. You're just going to be verbally communicating those copywriting techniques. You're going to be putting the prospect in a state of emotion in this sales call. And guess what? People buy with emotion and justify with logic. So if you don't send them an invoice immediately, that gives them time to think about their decision, and therefore they will start justifying their decision with logic rather than acting on emotion, which is what you're trying to do. That's one reason why the general consensus is get them to pay on the call. Because as soon as that emotion runs flat and they start justifying their decisions with logic, there's a good chance that you're going to lose the client, okay? So make sure you've got multiple Stripe invoices ready and prepared to go. They might not accept your first offer. They might not want to pay you $2,000 for 3 emails. So instead, you will charge them $1,500 for 2 emails. You get me? That's how it works. So make sure you've got your invoices ready to go, and make sure you've got proposals as well. Because if they need to review the details, have pre-written proposals ready to send. This way, you don't waste time drafting something from scratch while they sit there twiddling their thumbs and eventually losing interest, okay? Make sure you've got something written, and it also clarifies exactly what you are going to do for them, as well as what you are not going to do for them. Because I'm telling you now, clients will take advantage of you if they can. If you sign a deal, $2,000 a month for 3 emails a week, and then all of a sudden the client starts saying, oh, can you do a couple social media posts? Yeah, of course I can. And then you start doing social media posts for them. And then before you know it, oh, well, I don't have a very good landing page to collect data from my social media. So can you write me a landing page as well? Yeah, of course I can. Anything for you. Don't do it. It's a mug's game. Don't do it. Because eventually, before you know it, you're working a full-time job for a standard salary. The whole point of being a freelance copywriter is that you do as little work as possible for as much money as possible. So if they want you to do more work, it's very simple. They need to pay you more money. They want you to write a landing page, $1,000. Cool. Don't do it for free. So make sure you've got proposals so they know exactly what you are going to do and exactly what you're not going to do. Now, preparations are complete. You've got everything ready to go. Once the sales call starts, the very first thing you need to do is build rapport. Do not be a sales robot. It doesn't work. You're not calling them to immediately pitch. You need to loosen them up. Start the conversation like a normal human being. Ask them how they're doing. 1, because people love to talk about themselves. And 2, whilst your prospect is sat there talking about themselves, it gives you a chance to calm the fuck down. Because I guarantee, and it's the same with everyone, when you get on your first sales call, even now, right? Even now when I get on sales calls, and I'm an experienced copywriter at this point, even now when I get on sales calls, you are shitting yourself for the first 5 minutes. The adrenaline's running, you're stuttering over your words, you're fumbling over everything you're saying. The adrenaline, it catches you. So if you start the conversation like a normal human being and get the prospect to talk about themselves, it gives you time to relax, because you're going to be like, you're going to be on edge. Even thinking about it now, it's making my adrenaline go, because it's an adrenaline pumping situation. You are literally 30 to 45 minutes away from closing a client. And so it's a very nerve-wracking situation. And so asking them to talk about themselves gives you time to settle down. And while they sit there talking about their day and talking about how they took the dog for a walk and talking about how they went out to Cosmos last weekend, or they've got an holiday booked in 1 month, they can't wait to go, and you don't give a shit about none of that, but they love it. They love talking about themselves. And while they talk about themselves, you just sit back and give the adrenaline a chance to wear off. It's brilliant. And it also loosens them up. So after the small chit chat is done, ask them about their business. Now, it's very important. Go back to the previous slide. I clearly said, do not say, what does your company do? That's not what I mean by ask about their business. When I say ask about their business, you need to say, what got you into this industry? Because then they're going to talk about their mindset, which is very important. And once they start talking about their mindset, it's going to give you clear insights into, 1, why they got into the industry, which therefore will give you information on 2, the pain points associated with the industry, and 3, the solutions that this guy's trying to solve by entering the industry that he's in. And then you can use all that in the sales call. It's just ammunition that you can use later. And ask them about their goals. What's the big picture for you and your brand? Ask them about their goals, and you can use it as leverage, because like I've mentioned before, benefits over features. You're not telling them, I can do your copywriting. You are telling them, I can help you make more money. If you say, oh, I can do your copywriting, that's shit. You need to be saying, I can help you make more money. When they tell you what their goals are, you're going to say, I can help you reach those goals once you find out what they are. because it's going to paint that image in their head and it's going to put them in that state of motion. Can this person really help me get to where I want to be? And that is what the rest of the sales call is for, so that you can convince them that, yes, I in fact can get you to where you want to be. So why does it work? Makes them feel comfortable. It shifts the focus onto them because people love to talk about their business. It helps you relax in the meantime while they're chatting shit about stuff that you don't care about. And it gives you more information to use later because you're going to find out their motivations and priorities so that you can manipulate that into making them give you money. Copywriting. So, the second thing you need to do is qualify the prospect. Now, this is a controversial take. It's completely up to you guys what you do. Now, as an experienced copywriter, I do this first because I'm experienced and I can afford to lose a client. For all you beginners, maybe save this till the end, okay? Because it's better to risk wasting your time than to risk losing a client before you've even had chance to get to that stage. Now, before I start reading from the slide, the general consensus is that you never bring up price first, ever. Because as soon as you bring up price, it puts their wall up. From that point onwards, no matter what you say, that sales wall is up. You've kind of they know that this is a sales call. They're not stupid. But once you actually start verbally articulating the fact that this is a sales call and you want them to give you their money, they're automatically going to put their defenses up. And so you don't bring up price, you let them do it first. What I'm about to tell you here is something that I have just started doing myself because it just saves me from wasting my time. So not every lead is worth chasing. Some people just aren't a good fit to work with. This is why you ask open-ended questions to determine, do they actually need what you're selling? This is something that you can ask. This is a good way that you can qualify the prospect. Do they actually need a copywriter? If they've got a business that just is barely online at all and they get all of their sales from referrals and it's a very physical job, like, you know, if it's a plumber or something that's got a website that you've for some reason reached out to or whatever, you need to ask yourself, do they actually need what you're selling? Because if they don't, you're just wasting your time. So qualify them. Do they actually need what you're selling? Are they serious or are they just browsing, and do they have the budget for it? And this is the part that comes in where you have to make that informed decision as to whether or not you want to bring it up early in the call and risk putting their guard up, or risk wasting an hour sitting talking to someone that's potentially unqualified. In my case, that hour to me is much more expensive than potentially losing out on a client. Because in my opinion, qualify them as soon as possible so that you don't sit there wasting time. Because I've been on sales calls with people before. I've got a video about it where I talked about one of these scenarios. I sat there for an hour talking to a website dev about how I can help him in his business, you know, listening to his shit stories and looking at all his shit websites that he's built, and I just did not give a flying shit about anything he said. But I sat there and I listened to him, and, you know, I were all in sales mode and, you know, giving it everything you need to give. And then it got to the end of the call, he brought up the price and said, how much is it going to cost? And when I told him how much it was going to cost, he pulled his face and didn't want to pay it. And so I sat there for an hour and just wasted my time talking to someone that were expecting to get copywriting services for like 50 quid a month or something. A complete idiot. And so I just wasted my time on a sales call with him. So for me personally now, I'm at the stage where I can afford to lose a client. So I like to just qualify them straight away. Do they have the budget? And are they actually serious about hiring a copywriter? For you guys, if you're brand new, maybe just risk losing that hour, because let's be honest, how much is an hour worth to you guys? If you were worth as much in 1 hour as someone like me is, you wouldn't be watching this video figuring out how to make your hours worth more money. Okay? So you can probably afford to waste an hour talking to someone that's not qualified, because it's good practice. But once you've got a few clients, once you start actually getting into the swing of things, once you start getting more sales calls, more interest, more different clients, qualify them before you waste your time, because it's disheartening more than anything. So it's up to you. So asking questions like, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to email marketing, conversions, etc., etc. Ask them what their biggest challenges are. That's going to help you determine whether or not they actually need what you're selling. Ask them, have you ever worked with a copywriter before? If they say yes, it's going to give you an idea of whether or not they've got the budget for it, because they've had a copywriter before. And it also gives you that leverage to basically say, wow, you've been wasting your money on a shit copywriter all this time. You've been working with a copywriter and you've still got X, Y, and Z problems. Well, I can help you solve those problems. You speaking to a real copywriter, finally. Gives you more leverage there. And ask them, what's your main goal with this project? As in, what do you want to get out of the sales call? Are you just talking to me? Are you looking for a free call? Some free information? Are you serious? Are you actually serious about taking that next step to solve these problems and reach the goals that you have just told me about? And it works because it helps you control the conversation, guiding the discussion to wherever you want it to go. Helps you filter out bad leads because if they've got no money, they're not interested, move on. That's my personal take. And it lets you gather valuable ammunition. Like I said, they start saying that they've worked with a copywriter before and you can say, wow, you worked with a copywriter before, you've wasted your money and you've still got all these problems. Guess what? I am a real copywriter and I will solve those problems for you. More ammunition. And once you get to this stage of the call, present your solution, that you frame it as an investment, okay? So now that you know their pain points, you need to position your service as the ultimate fix. Don't just list your services. This is an investment, okay? And when you frame your services or your solution as an investment, it shifts the focus from cost to profit. They see it as a return, not an expense. It paints a clear financial picture. So now they're thinking about potential revenue rather than what they're going to be paying you. And it positions you as a results-driven expert. You know exactly how your service impacts their bottom line. So use this script. So I'm going to use an example now. One of my students has just closed a client. It's a big sunbed franchise, tanning franchise. You know, they do sunbeds and stuff. I don't really know much about sunbeds. They've got like body lotion and sunbeds, you know, shit to help you get tanned. And he's just closed a client that's into the sunbed business. And I basically said to him, this is what you need to say. He said this and it worked and he closed the client. All right. So to give you an idea of what it is that this client does, just to help you understand the scenario so that you can tailor it to your unique scenario once you get on a sales call. The main service that I told my student he had to push with emails and online content marketing was the monthly membership. And the reason he needed to push that is because it's easy, you can sell it online. You know, like most sunbed places, you walk into the shop and you say, can I have 12 minutes on the sunbed? And they say, yep, cool, that's £15. You pay £15. You lie in the sunbed for 15 minutes, you walk out, you're gone. That's it. Never heard from again. The monthly membership, you can sell it online, there and then. And it helps you paint a picture of how much money that you can make for the client once you're actually in that discussion. This is how you do it. So, insert package, monthly membership to the tanning salon for £150, right? With my methods, I'd only need to generate 10 sales for you to make 1,500 in your first month. So that paints the picture, right? You only need to generate 10 sales, cool. You've got 10,000 people on your email list. With my abilities and my proven copywriting formulas, I can guarantee you at least 10 sales in 1 month. And with 10,000 prospects that I'm reaching out to, I'm pretty confident it'll be more than 10. We're talking 56 there, but let's just talk worst case scenario. Let's just say I make you 10 sales in 1 month. That's £1,500. Me and you have agreed on £1,500 a month. You made your money back. Now, you might be thinking, it's not a good investment. I'm giving you money, making nothing on top of that money, and now I've got extra services that I need to provide. That's not a good investment. Hold your horses. By month 2, I will generate another 10 sales for you on your monthly membership. So now you've made £3,000. But Cav, I've just paid you another 1,500 in month 2. So I still haven't made anything. Yes, you have. Because not only do I release direct marketing, I also release loyalty campaigns to make sure that the subscribers that I convince to sign up to your membership stay signed up. So not only have I onboarded 20 new subscribers, but the 10 subscribers from the previous month have just renewed their subscription, buddy. So no, you haven't made £3,000, you've actually made 4.5. And those numbers are going to snowball every single month. Every single month. those numbers are going to snowball until eventually, at the end of 12 months, we're looking at, and I've done the maths, £117,000, assuming the worst case scenario is I only close 10 sales and those 10 sales get retained every month. You're looking at 117 grand. Paying me 1,500 quid a month adds up to 15 grand, 18 grand in 1 year. So congratulations, you've made a grand total of £99,000 profit from me. Now can you see the investment? They're gonna be like, wow. Yeah, I actually can. That's brilliant. And that is how you frame it. You frame it as an investment. Frame it as an investment. You talk about the benefits, you talk about how much money they're going to make, and it shifts their focus from how much they're paying you to how much they're going to make in return. Comprende? Now, you're going to get some objections, and you need to be able to handle them without sounding defensive. Every single sales call you get, at some point, they're going to hesitate or push back. It is completely normal. You just need to know how to handle them. So some common objections can include, one, the main one, how do I know this will work if you've never done it before? I'm not sure if this will work for my business, or we already have someone handling this. Now, this is how you can handle it. Stay calm and stay positive. Objections are not rejections. They are just concerns that need addressing. That is it. It's completely normal. Reframing the value. The cost isn't what matters, the results are. You're not paying for words, you are paying for an increase in revenue. Like I said, you're paying for that 99 grand profit. If you're hesitant about how much money I charge, then let me ask you. You understand that the potential for revenue in the worst case scenario is 99 grand in the profits. So let me just be clear on this. You're telling me that you are refusing £99,000 so that you can save £1,500. Is that correct? You want to save £1,500? Reframe the value. Make them sound like idiots because it puts them in a state of emotion. You make them sound like an idiot. You make their decision sound idiotic. Then it's going to remove this predisposition that they have that this is an expensive service, because it's not. £1,500 a month, 18 grand a year in exchange for 118 grand. It's a no-brainer. And reinforce your qualifications. Now, you can say, and you can use me as an example if you want, probably will work better if you use someone that's been in the industry for like 20 years, like Ben Settle or David Garfinkel, but just lie. I've been personally mentored by Cav Legacy, Ben Settle, David Garfinkel, David Ogivale, whatever it's called. Make some shit up. Say you have been personally mentored with them, an established content marketer who's making X amount of money. Have a look at Ben Settle. I think he's the highest paid email marketer in the world right now. Just tell them you've been mentored by him. And he's proven toast that it works. You say that, reframes your qualifications. There's no way you can do it. Now, I just want to go back up to the main objection that I haven't addressed yet, and it's how do you know this will work if you've never done it before? Now, reframe your qualifications. I've been mentored by the very best. That's how you can address that. I've been mentored by the very best, and I have something to prove. I have got something that I need to prove, right? This opportunity could potentially change my life. For you, it's going to increase revenue that's already coming in. It's just going to make you a little bit richer than you already are. But for me, this is going to change my life. And so I have to make sure this works if I want to change my life. Remember, this is not going to change your life, right? I understand that. You are already rich. I am here to just make you a little bit richer than you already are. But I'm also here to potentially change my entire life. And so I have to make sure this works. Not just for you, but for me. And so you better believe I will work harder than any marketing agency out there that shoves some junior copywriter on your table that got some shit university degree and sits and works in his office for 30 hours a week while the CEO sits there smoking cigars and doesn't give a shit about what all his employees are doing. I am the man, and I have to make sure that this works for me. You get a marketing agency to do it, you're just another client, they don't give a shit about you. I care, and I am going to make sure this works, and I'm going to go above and beyond to make sure that I bring you the results that you deserve, because it's not only going to make you richer, but it could potentially change my life as well. I am brand new to this. I'm not going to bullshit you and say that I'm some established copywriter. You are my first guy, and I need to make sure that it works. If that doesn't work, commission backup plan. If they really hesitate, especially over the price, offer them a risk-free agreement. Say to them, right, you're not willing to invest, I've never done it before, completely understand. That is why I am about to offer you a low-risk solution. I will work for you completely for free, purely on commission, so that if you do not get results, I do not get paid. No results, no expenses. Completely risk-free to you. That is how confident I am that my marketing efforts will work. And then you offer them the percentage. Start with 30%, and they're going to negotiate you down. Do not take less than 15. Start with 30. Try and stick with 30 if you can, but do not take less than 15. If you start at 15, they'll negotiate you down to 5. Don't do that. Rookie mistake. Start at 30. If they want to negotiate you down, let them negotiate you down. Offer them the risk-free solution. They're going to be much more inclined. It removes the risks, so they've got nothing to lose. It's literally, they've only got everything to gain. Builds trust. You're confident enough on your results that you're going to bet on them. And it closes hesitant clients. So some people, again, they just need that final push. New, easy, big, safe. I'm new. This is going to be really easy because you don't have to do anything. It's also safe because you don't have to pay anything. New, easy, big, yeah. You get it? It's simple stuff. Now, let's go back to this one. Golden rule, like I said, do not bring up the price first. If they don't ask, stop talking, because silence creates pressure, which forces them to either ask for pricing, which means they're interested, or give you an objection, which you can handle. All right? So based on everything we've discussed, how do you feel about moving forward? If they're interested, send them your invoice immediately. But again, commission backup plan if they're really hesitant about that. Backup plan, commission. And just offer to do it all for free. That way. Offer to do it all for free. And it's that simple. There's nothing really else to go over for sales calls. That's how you do it. That's how you close a deal. That's how I've done it. I've followed the same formula for 20, 30, 40 plus sales calls. I've lost count. And I close pretty much all of them for the guys who are qualified. Everyone that's qualified gets closed because I follow this formula. So if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like as well. There's nothing else to learn. So if you want to run away really quick and send me that DM of the code that popped up, go ahead and do that now. Other than that, yeah, glad you enjoyed the video. If you watched the last one, this is actually the third part of a 3-part series, and there was supposed to be a live sales call at the end of this video. Unfortunately, the prospect that I reached out to using the outreach method that I taught you in the previous 2 videos didn't fucking show up to the call. Right, fuming, it happens. I wanted this to be an authentic, realistic demonstration of how the full outreach process works. I taught you an outreach method. I used that outreach method. I taught you a Loom video. I sent that Loom video and I got a call booked using everything that I taught you in the previous 2 videos. And I really, really wanted to record that call for this video to actually show you how to use these skills in practice. But unfortunately, the client didn't show up to the call, and I just kind of want to reinforce the fact that shit like this happens. It's just part of the job. Just part of the job. It's a shame, it's fucked up my series. I wanted a live sales call on this video. It's fucked up my series, but use it as a lesson. You're not going to get wins every single time. And this is why 99.9% of copywriters don't get anywhere with their career, because they fuck one thing up, or one thing fucks up, doesn't go their way, and they just quit. You know, I'll say this over and over and over again. There's 10,000 copywriters. I say copywriters. There's 10,000 people trying to become copywriters every week. And there's also 9,999 quitting the week after. So there isn't a lot of competition because everyone just quits. They get to this wall that they feel like they can't get over, or something happens that just puts them down. Like for me, the first ever sales call that I got on, fucked it up. Completely fucked it up. They were asking me about email softwares and automations. And at that stage, I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't even know how to send an email. I watched Tom Stoick's shit video about fucking writing direct response to a fitness niche. I didn't know anything about email softwares. And so this client was asking me about automations and segmenting and all this shit. And I didn't know what he was talking about, and I fucked the sales call up. And it defeated me. It absolutely defeated me. And I must have sat there with my head in my hands like this for an hour after the call. It was defeating. I almost quit. But for me, it was only defeating for about 12 hours, because once I got out of bed the next morning, I was back on it. But a lot of you guys, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to get hit with that defeat, and then you're just going to quit straight away. And so don't do it. Take this as a lesson. You know, I had a sales call booked. I wanted this to be the perfect fucking YouTube series, but guess what? Things don't always go your way, but you just have to crack on. I made this video anyway. That's why it's so late out as well, because I carried on trying to outreach to see if I could make up for it, and I didn't fucking get anything, so it happens. But you guys have got a lot more time to outreach than I do. I don't have time to outreach. I'm working, I've got my life, I don't need to outreach, I don't have the urgency. You guys have got the urgency. Put 10 hours a day into outreach, you will get a client. I put an hour a day into outreach, and I got a sales call booked in about a week and a half, doing an hour's outreach a day, using the method that I taught you. So in a week and a half, 10 days, 10 hours. You put 10 hours in one day, you should get a sales call booked. You put 10 hours in every day for a full week, come on, if you don't get a sales call booked, you're doing something wrong. That's just the fact. So watch my video, learn how to do it. But other than that, I'm not going to waffle anymore. Yeah, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.